Hi, everybody. Mark, reliving the American Revolution. And a couple things, note of interest. General George is coming back this week. He's making his way from New Hampshire down to New York City. He said he'd pop in. Maybe he'll be good enough to give us a talk or two. So that's good news. I decided today to talk about something that we never hear about: the involvement of Spain in the American Revolution, and it was significant, but we never hear about it. Spain hated Great Britain. They had a ongoing hatred for each other for hundreds of years. They had just gone through the 7 Years' War. Spain lost the tip of Spain. It's called Gibraltar. Lost that to the British, and they just didn't get along. So Spain allied with their other enemy, France, and the two countries provided assistance to the 13 colonies. And they did all kinds of things. Spain did all kinds of things. They worked with the French fleet, and they sent their fleet up, and they did a lot of intimidating battles off of Great Britain, which made the British people very nervous. They figured there was going to be an invasion. They provided a great number of arms, over 400 cannons, 300,000 pounds of gunpowder, and just, muskets and musket balls and everything we needed, tents, uniforms, anything we needed, they would provide to us. And they snuck them in since they couldn't bring them into the ports of Philadelphia and Boston and Charleston. They brought them into French ports that were in the United States, New Orleans. They brought them into some of the Florida ports. Um, Spain had a lot of holdings down in the Caribbean. And so there was a lot of battles between Spain and Britain down in the Caribbean. Uh, they took over the Mississippi area, and because they had a lot of holdings west of the Mississippi. And so Spain was very, very involved down in the Caribbean. Jamaica, Cuba was a big Spanish port and Spanish island, Havana being the main port at that time. Uh, in fact, one of the biggest things that they did was had a great impact. Uh, General Rochambeau, who was the French general, he was heading down to Yorktown to do the siege of Yorktown, which we're going to talk about probably at the end of this week. And he sent a message to Admiral de Grasse, who was down in Jamaica. And he says to de Grasse, you need to raise funds for the American Army to buy supplies. You need to raise funds to get payroll for the American Army so we can do this siege. So de Grasse is down there and he's trying to raise funds, and he comes across a Spaniard who was an agent for a company down there. And I forgot what his name was, but he was in Havana, Cuba. He raised over 500,000 pesos um, in 24 hours. And with that, they bought uh, items that were needed for the Continental Army, as well as items for the French fleet to get out of the Caribbean and to get to the Chesapeake Bay. And it was that 500,000 that afforded de Grasse to take his fleet, and he sails up and blockades the Chesapeake. So the British fleet coming out of New York cannot get in and pick up Cornwallis. And we'll have all diagrams and all this stuff at the end of the week, beginning of next week. So as you can see, Spain played a significant role with the Americans and with the French in the American Revolutionary War. So that's today's story. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll look it up, study the Spanish and the American Revolution, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.